Okay. There's a new scam going around, guys. There's a new fear being spread by ignorant people, I suppose. I don't really know what to call them. On Sunday afternoon, my wife, who is a green card holder, along with my big son and my big daughter, they're all green card holders because they're all from Mexico. They're all here legally. We all went through the trouble of getting our green cards. Okay. Well, my wife showed me this video. Okay, and these guys are disc jockeys at a radio station. I know you probably can't see it very well. I'm sorry. I'm going to translate it. Basically, what they're saying here is they're saying not to sign this form called the I-407. It's an immigration form. It is not new, okay? And that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to blame Trump again for this. They're saying that if you sign this, now that form is for voluntary relinquishment of your permanent, alien, your resident alien status. There are situations where people need to give up their green cards. That would be, for example, if you're going to be outside of the United States for 6 months or a year, whatever, you're not returning, you would want to turn in your green card because you're not going to get back in anyways if you're gone too long. 6 months is usually where the problem starts. If you've gone out of the country for over 6 months, you're not going to get back in the United States because you're supposed to be here living for at least half the year. Anyways, I don't want to go off on about immigration law per se, but this document has been around as long as there's been green cards. Okay. In fact, the one that I downloaded was printed on, I can't remember the exact date, but it was 2015. So it's not something new that Trump came up with. Okay. These fools are telling the Mexican community, and I'm not talking about illegals. I'm talking about people with green cards who are resident aliens, okay? All right? These are resident aliens with green cards, visas that allow them to work here and have all the same rights as an American, except they cannot vote. Well, that's part of the conspiracy here. Watch this. So these guys are telling everybody, oh, don't sign this document. They're giving this document to people at the border when they come back that are green card holders and making them sign it. Okay, I looked at the document. It is 2 pages. It's voluntary. You have to turn in your green card. There's witnesses. It has to be witnessed. Nobody can force you to sign this document, okay? So if they're giving you this document, obviously you wouldn't sign it if you know how to read freaking English, which is why, of course, if you live here, you should know how to read English, like I know how to read Spanish. So when I was in Mexico getting my FM3 visa to work there legally, I had to do all my paperwork in Spanish. There were no English translations available for any of the documents that I had to deal with in order to be legally living and teaching in Mexico. Okay? Same thing here. This document is not just meant for green card holders from Mexico. It's meant for green card holders from anywhere. Okay? So anyway, so these guys are spreading misinformation about this. This is not true. I researched it. When my wife showed me the video, I was like, no, that's total nonsense. It can't be even true. It's not true at all. So I did a search. I went ahead and did the old Google thing to see if there had been any incidents involving people being forced or obligated somehow to sign this form. I couldn't find any. What I did find, though, was the ACLU had a suspicion, or the exact phrase was basically along these lines. They believed that an immigration agent may have tried to coerce somebody to sign this document. And that was supposedly, I believe, in Los Angeles, and it was the only mention I could find of this type of incident occurring. And, of course, it's the ACLU, first of all, so you got to be a little suspicious, and the entire idea of it was all conjecture. No, there was no factual information here. It was supposed that maybe somebody tried to do this, okay? So there's no basis in fact for this at all. So I was really curious about this, and since, if you follow my channel, I'm an English teacher. I teach ESL. I've taught for various schools throughout the last 14 years. I'm back to teaching ESL again. I'm also teaching GED, and I deal with a lot of the Mexican-American population, obviously, because of the people that need to learn English here in Texas, right? So sure enough, I'm in class yesterday. I'm working at a local business that manufactures furniture. I have a student. I'm asking him how everything's going, and we're talking about the class, blah, blah, blah. And he told me out of the blue, he said, I'm not going to be able to take your class after February 27th. And I was like, well, what's the matter? What's wrong? What's going on? And he goes, I'm taking a citizenship class. In fact, I'm even thinking about taking 2, and I really want to concentrate on my citizenship. He is a permanent resident. He's a resident alien. Okay, he's got a green card. He's been here 20 years. And I said, well, why? And then it clicked. Okay. And I went, okay, don't tell me. Is this something to do with a form called I-407? And his eyes went, and he was like, yes. And I told him, don't worry about this. That form's been around for years. It's not new. It's not like, oh, this new form up here because I'm Mr. Evil Trump. Okay. So, but because these people are uninformed, and because I guess they don't know how to even use Google or whatever the situation is, he was concerned. He was like, oh my God, I better go get my citizenship because I don't want to be deported. You know, he's got kids that were born here. He has a wife who also has a green card who's been here like 20 years, like him. And he was worried about this. Okay. I was ready to drop my English class to go take citizenship classes. So I asked them, I said, where I teach, I was actually going to be teaching citizenship, okay? They canceled the class due to funding cuts. That's another whole video right there. I'm not even going to go into that. But they cut the program and my class that I was going to be teaching citizenship in because of budget cuts. So there was no citizenship that we offered. So I asked him, I said, well, who's doing this? And he said there were volunteers and they were at a local church, not too far from where I work, if I'm not mistaken. Now, he didn't tell me exactly where it was. He just told me da-da-da-da-da. Anyways, he told me this, and then it all made perfect sense. Okay, this information, by the way, what I'm telling you about not signing this I-407, they're spreading it. It was on Univision, I think Telemundo. They're telling people a falsehood, as usual. They're telling people that they're being forced to sign this when they arrive from outside of the country. Again, I could not find any evidence of this. No evidence. Just pure conjecture from the ACLU. Okay? Pure conjecture. Nothing based in fact. I don't know anybody who this has happened to. If you know somebody, let me know, and then we can make another video, and I'll have to eat my words or whatever. But as of right now, what this appears to me to be is a leftist, Democrat attempt. Okay, the real agenda. Let's get down to it. The real agenda here is, for example, my wife. I've told my wife, why bother to become a citizen? The only right that you gain by becoming a citizen is you get to vote. That's it. That's the big woohoo. I mean, you know, and we don't intend to go out of the country right now and expatriating anywhere right now, so that's not an issue. So we're not going to be leaving. She does. What was my point about that? Well, anyways, so they're telling people this information that is wrong and false. And again, this document has existed for years. And it has caused fear in the community. When I taught class this morning, I teach a GED class in the morning, and that class also has a lot of ESL students in it who are trying to get their GED. Some of them, again, are permanent residents who have their green card. Well, they all knew about this. So this is being pushed by mainstream news sources directed directly at, well, primarily, I hate to use this term, but Hispanic, Latino, whatever you want to call them, Mexicans who are here legally. And the reason behind it is, and my student told me this, he overheard the volunteers talking, and they said that their reasoning behind offering these citizenship classes is to get the permanent resident people to become citizens so that they will vote. Okay? So in other words, this is a big scam designed to scare resident aliens into becoming citizens so that they will vote. And that vote, of course, will be influenced by the people who are the volunteers. So, okay, if you're a volunteer and you're teaching citizenship class, of course they're going to be voting which way? They're not going to be voting for Trump because they have this idea in their head, this fear that Trump is the creator of this imaginary problem, which is not even real, okay? And this is being broadcast. I mean, these guys are putting up these ridiculous videos trying to scare the hell out of their own people. I mean, by their own people, I mean people in a similar situation. Latinos, whatever you want to call them. I hate all those terms for Mexicans, but that's the term. So mainstream news sources are putting this out. According to what I saw here, even on YouTube, if you look on YouTube, I found one, I think it was Univision. I found a couple of people who had made videos about this themselves. I didn't watch them all. There was about maybe 4 or 5. There's not that many. But my point is, if this is being put out as a nationwide story on like Telemundo and Univision and things like that, which are very mainstream for most Mexican households in this country, or Hispanic households, or whatever you want to call them, Spanish speakers, then it's going to have an effect. It will have an effect on these people. It will fill them with fear. Fear will cause them to go running to go get their citizenship. And then fear again will cause them to now use their newly acquired right to vote. And that's what they're after. The Democrats want to try and get as many of these people on their side as possible. Okay, I guess using dead people or just plain flat out illegal aliens didn't work. So instead they've got to try and convince these permanent residents to go ahead and get that citizenship so that they will be able to vote. This news should spread like wildfire. I hope if anybody watches this video that you notify people, okay, because this is wrong. I am very disgusted with this. This is pure manipulation. It's the same kind of tactics the government itself uses. Fear. You're scaring people unnecessarily in order to achieve another agenda. Completely wrong. What are you scaring people for? Leave them alone. So many people are already so fearful of Mr. Trump that they're acting like idiots already, as we can see from our culture. But then to scare people here who are legal residents, who are under no threat, disgusting. And then once I realized that the ultimate goal is what I've explained here, to get their citizenship so that they will vote, I realized, well, it makes perfect sense. This is one of those, this is totally a covert type operation that was started by somebody who realized there's a whole untapped market of left-wing Democrat votes, and that is the resident holders, because there's so much propaganda right now going on against Trumpster that, well, it's easy to capitalize on that, get people full of fear. Next thing you know, they're panicking and acting like weirdos, and you have these macho men trembling with fear, So, again, I-407 is a real document. It is for legal residents, people here on their green cards, but it is not being forced on anyone when they come into the border. That is nonsense. And it is also not a new thing. It's existed for years. Again, the copy that I saw was from 2015. All right, and you can download this. You can check it yourself. You can go to the DHS's website. Department of Homeland Security has it online there. I-407. Again, it's voluntary. It's when you need to get rid of essentially your green card because you, for some reason, are no longer going to be able to meet the requirements of a permanent resident, which of course involve being here. So overall, this really disgusts me. I really, really hate people like these kind of guys. These guys showed you briefly, scaring their own people and misinforming their own people, filling their own people with fear, okay? So if you hear about this crap, if somebody tells you this, remember, it's bullocks. It is poo-poo. It is caca. It is not true at all. Again, maybe if somebody else wants to do more research, maybe they can find a case where somebody was forced to sign this document and forced to relinquish their green card, but I'll be surprised. Now, again, that's why I teach English to people, so that you don't have to be ignorant, so you can read and know what you're signing, so you can assimilate and participate in the culture, etc. Okay? So anyways, so again, spread the word on this. This is misinformation. Okay? If you hear this, it is misinformation with an agenda attached to it. Okay? So anyways, Alvarado out. I don't have anything else to say about this. I mean, I have plenty to say, of course, but I think that's enough for now. Anyways, you guys have a good one. Please spread the word, and I will see you on the flip side. Have a good one. Bye-bye.